All right, good morning, people. Bob here, back once again, ready to break down some Bitcoin and wasting no time. Let's get right down to it. Just out of sheer entertainment here, so I sitting down this morning to go ahead and start this, and I don't know, maybe 10 minutes ago, Bitcoin was like right here, 23,130, and then it kind of dumped down to 23, like 90, and then just blasted off from there. And we'll take a look at that. And as far as it goes, was just thinking to myself here a few minutes ago. I'm like, man, this should be interesting. Looking at this candle, kind of tucked down here. It was a little doji candle, and then all of a sudden, boom! Here we are. Look at this point, and I'll kind of go into some different things. I mean, but we got one of a few ways I think this thing plays out at this point. But this was an amazing start right here, and this is suddenly looking a lot more like a bearish fake out down here. And again, just in the last few minutes, really. So we'll take a look at that. But yeah, I kind of half wish I'd have actually been doing a video at the time. That was crazy the way that thing just popped up out of there. But either way, so here's where we're at. We were working our way back down into here, and I'll just kind of show you some different things as far as different time frames and like how this thing, what this line kind of represents, and then what. And we've talked about this one plenty of times in the past. I got this falling channel, this midline split. Well, Bitcoin held it here, at least for now. And again, I'll zoom in on some shorter term time frames here, but this thing was crazy. Let's just go ahead and get right down to business here. This 4-hour chart maybe might be a good one to look at. I mean, legitimately, no BS. This thing was down here minutes ago. Here, let's take a look. Here's a 5-minute chart for you. Hit that 23,000 level, and then boom, just blasted straight up to the next fib level here. Working on holding that one now. I'm going to guess that this thing maybe does not hold it for the moment, because that was a pretty serious move. But yeah, I mean, that thing just took right off. There's a 15-minute look for you. And I'm sitting here looking at this right here. I'm like, all right, I double topped. Maybe it moves down here. And, maybe, this was a little rising channel. And I was like, all right, maybe it moves down here. But nah, it came back down, tap and go. And a big part of that was the fact that, Bitcoin had already put in back-to-back 4-hour green candles. And then, and this is why you can't get too caught up on, just like one aspect of this. You got a situation where you put these back-to-back green candles in, and typically you'll go ahead and look to buy the bottom of the candle prior at that point if you expect it to continue. So you get to buy here, and then boom. I figured we'd come back up to this 23.4 level, and I wondered, what that would look like. If it could hold there, if it could break it, and obviously that answered my question very quickly. Now, again, I don't know necessarily that this thing just keeps roasting to the upside, but I mean it, at least at the moment. I mean, what we're 45 minutes into this candle and it's already recovered. It's already up 2.8% with 3 hours to go. I don't know, I kind of look at it and I think, all right, well, you can see all these trend lines I put on here. And again, this line right here is sort of a reasonable representation of that line from our other chart, that falling channel. This thing cut right through the price action. So now, now I'm looking at it thinking, all right, well, now it's this trend line right here that I think is the one that comes into play next. So, at least potentially we're coming up here to right at 24,000, maybe before this candle ends. And then, I don't know, things get real crazy. All of a sudden you start talking, maybe it actually recovers every level that it failed to maintain here. And then all of a sudden we are putting in just a ridiculous, I don't know, I've heard some people refer to them as God candles before. I mean, this thing, put put in a 5-10%, 4-hour candle, who knows? But yeah, I mean, you would think that this stuff right here, all this chop, is going to create some level of resistance for it. And, I mean, again, take a look at that volume that came in right there. My goodness. Yeah, obviously I'm kind of caught off guard by all that. So let's go ahead and take a look. Again, at this point now, I question whether or not this line is going to be retested again. I mean, that's a fairly significant test of that trend line there, and a hell of a response. And again, seems pretty fair to say that this was a bearish fake out. Matt and I were talking yesterday. I'm like, man, on the 4-hour, we do have a higher low. I mean, at least we didn't set a lower low. So, and then obviously, again, like I said here this morning, you can see the result of this action. So, quite the start here. God, I don't even know if I could speculate as to where this thing even stops the 4-hour candle, right? I think this right here, this seems like a logical place for it to get tapped out a little bit. I would think. I got a trend line there, right? It could or should hold up. Let's assume for 1 second that doesn't, right? Let's pretend for 1 second this thing's going straight through there. Measured move target takes us out to 25,820, which, I mean, that number in and of itself is sort of a logical number. I mean, we've looked at all these different charts a million times, and I got Fibonacci analysis, all over the place. Let's see if we can find one that's got that particular number on it. Bear with me one moment. All right, so it would seem that TradingView is actually having some issues, some technical difficulties here this morning. Can't even get back out of this chart to get to the other one. So, I can tell you that I know for sure that this 25-ish number, I can tell you for sure I've got one chart that's got a fib that has a level listed there. And as far as that part goes, we've talked about the potential upsides here. At this point, I guess I'd sit here and tell you, let's go ahead and we'll use this one for the daily view for the moment. Again, we were in trouble there overnight, right? We closed just slightly below this candle over here on yesterday, just slightly below, and then come down here, tap this level, about 22,600, and really just hadn't looked back since. So, well, at least within the last 20 minutes, right? So, I guess at this point, then this thing should fall over. Okay, it should. And for several reasons. I mean, this right here, it's already showing a bearish divergence. That's why it is rolling over a little bit now. But I do have to wonder. I mean, I don't know. You see these things happen sometimes. I mean, it's not vastly frequently, but it's more so on shorter time frames. You see stuff like this happen all the time. Just kind of back-to-back candles that are just kind of negating each other. And then it typically makes a move one direction or the other. Recently, I guess I've seen it go both ways, so it's just tough to say. Really going to depend on where this thing ends up closing today. And 12 hours left in the day. It's already up over top of all of the other closes. So, I mean, over the next few hours, do we possibly just come down and I mean, it's already basically retested this a few times. Yeah, I mean, at this point, I almost half wonder if we are shooting 25,000 here today, and maybe in a very short time period, to be frank. but again, I just, there are a few things that would prevent you from thinking that would be a reality, but it seems as though it at least is feasible at this point. Let's pretend for 1 second that this thing comes back off the rails. Where does it go from there? I can't see it dumping back through further than what it already did overnight. I mean, unless it's just a insane rejection, say it comes back up here again, 24.5, and then still fails to put in a new high, and then just gets lambasted. Then, to be frank, I don't know if I can tell you that I've seen too many scenarios that look just like what I'm seeing there. So I'll be interested to see what happens myself. I'll just say it that way. I mean, it looks like it's probably at this point this was a bearish fake out, and we're gonna make assumptions that it is in fact going to continue to push up through here, and we're maybe gonna make an attempt at this 25,000 number here before too long. And then the interesting thing is here, if you look at this, once you cross this threshold, and really, I guess this one right here specifically, once you get past there's not much resistance in the way. It would not take much for Bitcoin, and this would be, after I'm telling you yesterday how often does Bitcoin put in major candles that are more than say 5-10%. Well, let's assume that it was to just take off from here and go all the way up through all the traffic there, and we're talking 22% ish. Is that in the cards for us in one day? I doubt it, but is it feasible? Sure, I guess. I just assume that if we're going to do anything, we come up here today. So 25,310. So we still got some room to go if that's in fact where we're going to head to. But I would assume we go that route about it, and then tomorrow we tap down, find support right here at this 24.5 level, and then go ahead and make an upside push if that's what it wants to do. Again, the 200 simple on the daily chart still way up here. All right, so I mean, is it feasible that Bitcoin would put in some massive candles to get all the way up there? I mean, let's see, where are we at? That's about a 40% increase there. But yeah, I don't know. Bitcoin doesn't seem like it has a whole lot of interest in stopping at the moment. It just kind of keeps breaking through some levels here as I'm talking. I mean, it's up a couple hundred more bucks just in a few minutes there, really. So I'd love to sit here and tell you that I have any idea at this point. I can only assume. I'm just at this point. I'm just going to have to assume that this thing doesn't want to stop, and that there may be some volatility that's going to come in here because of all these big candles that it's streaking together. But otherwise, I don't know. I don't just see it just melting right back down. So I guess, again, got to assume that it will continue some of this upwards movement. But all right, so I guess just kind of, and again, I can't get out of that chart. So let's see if we can get this one working. All right, so we got our Heiken Ashi candles here. Again, I mean, it's already broken out of whatever patterns I did have to work with here. Let's say that this was one. Already broke out of that. We're talking 24 and change. I mean, yeah, it seems fairly evident that that's the general direction that this thing's heading. So, at this point, I guess just kind of look for something in the 24.8 range. Let's see if we can get some sort of quick retest in the 24, and then just let's go. Again, interesting start to the morning. Throw me off a little bit, to be frank, and then the fact that TradingView's having some issues with the charts. We can't get to all the ones we want to see, but you get the idea. Things changed very quickly in a 48-hour period. And again, really, most of this taking place in just the last handful of minutes, really. We're talking at this point, 3 15-minute candles that you're looking at right there that have spanned almost an entire $1,000 price range. My goodness. Yeah, just enjoy today. That's all I'm going to say. I mean, again, it's not even worth trying to sit here and speculate as to where this thing really is going to stop. I'm going to be looking 24,000 plus, 25,000 plus potentially, and just hope for the best is really where we're at this stage. So, just here we go. Finally got an hourly candle close there, and I mean, it's at least for the moment shows no signs of relenting to the upside. So, let's see what it does. Get excited. Hopefully it doesn't just roll over and die on us here. But again, that would all come from the idea that it probably at least needs to exceed 24,600 in order to not roll over, basically, is what I would say. So that's really what I'm going to be kind of looking for, at least get over that level, which again, assuming that this trend line comes into play here, and it was you kind of got this parabola here that broke down after it came back up against that line. That line is going to come back into play. I'm nearly certain. So yeah. Get excited. Let's see if we can't get this thing pushing way on up the chart today. And if it doesn't, just to be clear, if we come up against a scenario where, and again, it'd be nice if I could access all of the charts that I need to, but if it comes up against this line and eventually does get tapped out, I mean, you're looking at possibly coming back down this way. But again, at least as of right now on the daily, we have now broken all of the daily candle closes. So as long as this thing doesn't pop and sell off, we're off and running. That was an amazing job by the Bulls there, I gotta say. So. Yeah, excitement to start the day. Hey, I appreciate you guys. We appreciate you guys. I'm just going to go ahead and cut this thing off because after all that excitement, it doesn't feel like there's a whole lot more direction, in terms of what I could say or what's going to happen or anything. I just going to enjoy it at this point. So, looking forward to catching up tomorrow.